Well, welcome back to Test Relay Railroad. I'm going to do something different today. Um, since my layout's torn apart due to the flooding that we had in the basement here last week due to a sump pump failure, all my stuff is packed away. You've noticed I'm doing shorts as new items come in. In fact, I have 3 new items that arrived today that I'll be doing shorts later this evening for. Instead of showing trains on the layout that currently doesn't exist, we're going to go jump right into the and now for something different. Uh, but 20, 30 years ago, my grandmother was part of a team that did a centennial book for Breen Township up in Michigan's Upper Peninsula that includes the town of Foster City. And at the time, there was a train that would go through that area called the Filch Flyer. So I was doing a little research today and I found this photo and thought that was kind of interesting. That's going over the Sturgeon River Bridge here in Foster City um, back in August of 1910. And the other thing that I remembered from reading through that centennial book that my grandmother and several people put together here back in the late 70s, early 80s, in fact, was the local Morgan Lumber and Cedar Company that had a huge operation there in Foster City took these old steam locomotives, put tracks and skis on them, and you can see all the lumber they were able to haul. Um, this is 1908, December, and Patrick Milligan the first here. I never knew him. I knew his son. His son was about the same age as my grandparents, and he owned Pat's Market in Foster City. And I remember going there as a kid. Pat and his wife Janny were just two of the nicest people you'd ever meet in the world. They were just spectacular, spectacular people. So I saw Patrick Milligan the first in this photo here in the far left. It made me really have warm feelings and memories of my childhood back in Foster City. Here they kind of go through more. They had ice roads in the winter, and they could haul 18 or 20 loads of lumber using that old steam locomotive that was modified with the skis and the tracks. It was pretty cool to see this in that old Centennial book. So I was struggling to try and think of something to keep the channel going here while I wait for my big layout to start. And I remembered seeing these photos years ago. So uh, here it is from 1915 to 1920. They used that steam locomotive with the tracks and treads on it all day and all night, doing short stuff from the camps company, mills, and they had several camps around the area too. So lots of old log cabins all around the area. And here's a photo of the Morgan Lumber and Cedar Company company store. Um, my great grandfather was actually a foreman at the lumber company here, and most of these buildings are gone. You wouldn't even recognize the area that this is in now. Here's from the you're looking south in this photo. You can see the this company store there on the left. There's the mill. There's a Sturgeon River filled with all the logs, and you'll see that kind of a domed, looks like almost like a bowling pin structure. If you look over to the tree line behind that, that hill is called Boarding House Hill, and you can see the two large white buildings there. One that's kind of hidden by the steam and the smoke. That building's still there today. That's the boarding house, which is the hill's named after. And if you go to the next view, you're basically at that boarding house looking the opposite direction. So you can see all those houses in the distance. Many of those are still there. The one in the center I know is still there. And you go down the hill a bit to the left. My dad's cousin owned a house there, and then next door they owned the bed and breakfast that had a restaurant downstairs for years called the Milltown Inn. So yeah, this whole area has a lot of history in my family. This is my mom's side of the family, the Doran family that was in this area. Sam Doran was the foreman at one of the foremen at the mill there at the lumber company. So that's today's video, just to keep things interesting on the channel. I hope you all enjoyed it, and like I said, I'll be putting out a couple shorts later tonight of 3 new vehicles that I purchased through eBay that arrived today. So I look forward to seeing those later today. Thanks.